From all outward appearances, X-Zone Radio appears to be a radio talk show based on the paranormal. But after having been a guest on this show, it's clearly obvious the network is incapable of having any kind of intellectual conversation from that host. The host, Rob McDonnell, is obnoxious, rude, and tends to throw the atmosphere of what should be a conversation into verbal attacks and abuse on his guests, as he clearly spends most of his time trying to bash what is being said, rather than respecting diverse opinions or even trying to understand them. In short, he plays the role of a government shill. I don't believe government is corrupt. That's totally illogical, claims McConnell. In fact, his entire show is based on what he does or doesn't believe, as he rants against the guests he brings on it. Why bother having guests at all? It's not a radio talk show. It's a playground for his immature, unintelligent arrogance and his own stupidity. He's totally not fit to be a host of any kind. Before I went on the air, he asked me to submit 12 questions that listeners might want to hear the answers to. I found it odd that an interviewer refused to do his own homework and view the material of the guests he was having on his show and formulate his own questions for them to answer. You know, like show some interest in your guests. But I submitted the questions anyway. He didn't ask one of them during what seemed like 10 minutes of actual bashing compared to the 45 minutes of advertising. Here's the questions I sent him. Potential questions. Number 1, who and what are aliens? Number 2, are there friendly aliens? 3, what and who are the serpent seed line? 4, how can we defend ourselves against aliens? 5, how can we defend ourselves against high-tech government weapon attacks? 6, what's the reason behind massive and worldwide enforced chip implantation? 7, you have a website called CrystalCityFraud.com. What exactly is that? 8, who are the Omegans? What is NESARA? And why do you have a website called NESARASucks.com? 9. How will we know we're in the prophesied last days? 10. Do the Arab nations play a key role in the last days? 11. Some preachers claim America isn't mentioned in the Bible. Is that true? 12. What are your thoughts on Canada for the last days? Will we be thrown into martial law? He never had an interest in asking real questions. From the start of the interview, he had his own agenda to attempt to mock and ridicule me. When that wasn't working, he just cut me off the air. It was the worst attempt I've ever seen to attempt to mock and discredit my work. He's clearly not much of a professional at it, as I was barely even amused by it. I've gotten more of a rise from fake video death threats. When I told him he was an atheist, he went ballistic denying it, then admitted to his next guest that he was indeed an atheist. He clearly discredits himself by his own actions, tantrums, lack of professionalism, and short memory. Why did I even bother to do the show? Because people can think for themselves. His audience has a much higher intelligence level than he does, and they can and will make up their own minds despite his attempts to do their thinking for them. Nothing done for the Lord will return void. There's someone out there who needed to hear what I had to say in the very short amount of time I had to say it. May the Most High be blessed. God bless his warriors.